Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Syaharani Hamidah, and I'm here with my friends Mokhtar Arifin and Dewanta Widigdo Utomo. We are from Group A, Academic Presentation, English Literature of Sunan Kalijaga, and we will discuss about the issues that are happening lately and before our brothers and sisters out there, especially in countries that have a minimum number of Muslims there. Before we discuss more deeply, let us first understand what Islamophobia is. Let's focus on this one. What does Islamophobia actually mean? There is written Islamophobia is an exaggerated fear, hatred, and hostility toward Islam and Muslims that perpetuated by negative stereotypes resulting in bias, discrimination, and the marginalization and exclusion of Muslims from social, political, and civic life. In fact, people with Islamophobia are the same as people with other phobias. An example is agoraphobia, which is a fear of haze, aquaphobia, or the fear of water, and astrophobia, fear of thunder and lightning. All phobias arise because of a person's anxiety disorder, which makes someone have a very strong irrational fear or hatred for something, and Islamophobia refers to race and belief. Let's move to the next slide. How does Islamophobia occur? It is about how this Islamophobia arises in a person then develops. Our beliefs, like thought, are powerful, energetic force. They move toward the thoughts generated by our beliefs. Then, what actually comes to the minds of people with Islamophobia at first? First is prejudice. Everyone has a power core where they trust themselves or their thought. People with Islamophobia are prejudiced alone as negative judgment, opinions, or attitudes. But prejudice may be due to personality types or because what is on the outside is a small part of who a person is. A second stereotype: those who have something in common with us will be assessed as one group with us or in group. Those who are different from us will be categorized as subgroups. I think the differences between each other are what create stereotypes between groups to happen. Then differences make the interpretations they produce on the basis of Muslim perspectives and cultural backgrounds. An example of the stereotypes that develops in anti-Muslims is that Islam is a violent religion, but in fact, Islam is a religion that upholds peace. And there are also those who say Islam is a terrorist who bomb other people because of his or her or their beliefs. And in fact, once again, Islam is a religion of peace. Third, have beliefs that come from their religion. The seizure of Jerusalem between Israel and Palestine is based on their religious beliefs. For Jews, Jerusalem is the site where Judaism, two sacred temples, once stood. While for Islam, Jerusalem is the site where Prophet Muhammad SAW ascended to heaven, claims to the region not only have a violent impact on religion, but also create a global tension over Islam.
Okay, let's continue to the slide 4. Islamophobia cases in the country with Muslim minorities. There are several cases of Islamophobia around the world. The example one is genocide. This is the case with the highest death toll and impact on Muslims because genocide can killing a large number of people. The second is violence. The death rate, which is also caused by cases of violence against Muslims, was no less. The causes of the violence against Muslims are varied. However, from the data I have read, most of the reasons that inflict violence against Muslims are because a group of people have held the wrong stereotype against Muslims. Number 3 is vandalism. Actions that are based on a lack of awareness and mostly on whim. Number 4 is male attack. And this is the most frequent attack on Muslims in minority country. Okay, let's discuss the case in more detail. Slide 5. Genocide. There are many cases of genocide against Muslims in the world. I took 6 examples of them as follows. The first one is Andalusian tragedy in 1909. This tragedy based from European Christians trying to eradicate Muslims until Muslims disappeared from the land of Andalusia. The second is the Jammu Massacre, 1947. The main aim of the Hindu Dogra rules was to change the demographic composition of the area by eliminating Muslim population. Number 3. The genocide and Israeli occupation of Palestine, 1948 until now. Israel attacked Palestine to take over Palestine area and the guidance of their very strong Jewish belief. Palestine is not a case Islamophobia in the minority, but of all the massacres carried out by Israel, making Muslims in Palestine even become a minority in their own territory. The number 4 is genocide of Khmer Muslim and ethnic in Vietnam, 1975 until 1979. A large number of ethnic Khmer, mostly Shia Muslim, were killed during the heroic Khmer Rouge rule from 1975 until 1979, with some death toll estimate ranging from 100,000 to as high as 500,000. The number 5 is Rohingya genocide 2012 until now. Basically, the Rohingya crisis was not only motivated by political and economic problems as well as the cases of the Aleppo tragedy. However, the real source of the initial problem was that the Rohingya ethnic group's religion is different from the majority of the Rakhine population who are Buddhist. Number 6 is Uyghur genocide in Xinjiang, 2019 until now. 1 million plus people being held in detention camp to forcibly integrate the community and eroded its Islamic heritage. The next slide. Violence. On the slide we are mentioned the number of cases violence against Muslims, and of course this cause various victims. Some are up to 100,000. Most of cases violence occurred in India. The political problem in which government interference with intolerance that occur in India is also the main key why violence in India often occur. Next slide. Vandalism. There are several examples of cases committed by perpetrators of vandalism. First is burning the Al-Quran. One of the cases in Danish man, 42 years old man, burning Quran and post video on its Facebook. But now we find so many on YouTube. But there is no further action on what they have done. This action was based on protests about various in the Quran which they thought were irrelevant for real life. Second is mosque shooting. What recently happened was the Christchurch mosque shooting in New Zealand in 2019. According to report, 50 people died and dozens were injured. The third is bomb threat. In recent months, dozens of mosques across Germany received bomb threat, spreading worries among the country's Muslim population. The country has witnessed growing Islamophobia in recent years. The next slide, male attack. An example of the case. Aircraft was full of discrimination, like the case of Muslim schoolgirls were told to leave a carrier's apple, and physical abuse such as the cases that recently occurred after the caricature of Prophet Muhammad SAW in France to Muslim women stepped in substance Paris hate crime.
In these cases, our next discussion is the reason why Islamophobia in European countries was growing. First is media. The lack of information in media is added to discourse of extreme group in Europe. This makes people who have less knowledge easily deceived, and then people who know little will have a misunderstanding on Islam. Second is extremist and nationalist group who develop wrong perception of Islam. The organization portray those who worship Islam as fundamentally strange and attribute to its followers an inherent set of negative traits. For example, UPF was a nationalist anti-Islam organization that stood in opposition to immigration, opposition to multiculturalism, and Islam by demonstration. Third is politicians. In fact, Islamophobia in minority countries occurs because of the support of their government. Last is hate crimes and discrimination. The climax was after the September 11 attacks took place. From these problems, what role are played between fellow Muslims against Islamic haters? Of course, this raises various responses from various sides. From the government side, the egoism of a number of leaders and the pride of their respective countries presumably creates a lack of concern. From our environment, the very unfortunate fact is that a few of our fellow Muslims know that happened to their other fellow Muslims. But on the other hand, there was also a positive response. There are several people provide by direct assistance or donation, and some of them provide support through the media. Our final discussion is, what should be done so the matters of religious differences are not considered big? We cannot eliminate the issue of Islamophobia, because differences in religions and individual thought of a person are also different. But we can prevent that by applying some of these examples to ourselves. First is tolerance. Tolerance between religious communities can unite differences as written in Quran Surat Al-Ankabut verse 4. And do not dispute with the followers of the book except those of them who act unjustly, and say, we believe in that which has been revealed to us and revealed to you, and our God and your God is one, and to him do we submit. Second is be wiser in choosing media after the WTC 911 incident. Islam and Muslim continue to dominate negative headlines in mainstream media around the world. So it's no wonder that every time there is a terror attack, it will usually be pinned on Islam and Muslim. The media is very developed now. We need to sort out what is right and what is not.
Last is placing understanding before hate. The best step is to find out what Islam really is, not what the media are trying to portray it. Because actually, hating a situation or a thing without knowing the cause and effect is folly. It is by honor. And we got this presentation material from several articles that we include as written on the slide. And that brings us to the end. That is the presentation from Group 8 about Islamophobia in minority countries. We apologize if we made a mistake in this presentation. We hope we can convey it correctly without offending any party. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.